You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Hey, with us is Josh Woodward. Josh, you are dedicated to helping people, financial advisors, become number one in their area. And we're curious about it. We have lots of financial advisors on the show, sometimes 2 or 3 per week, and been working with these people for many, many years. So what is the key to being a successful financial advisor?
Yeah, awesome. Great. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been watching your podcast and your shows for a while now. Very educational. And I think really the biggest thing for advisors, kind of like what you do, is just education, right? Educating your clients, educating your prospects. But then I think the biggest backbone to anything is marketing and making sure you're getting that message out to the people so they can actually see what you're saying.
Got it. So marketing, everything comes down to marketing in the end, right?
Everything, yeah.
But, this kind of marketing can't be like hitting you over the head marketing. It's got to be a little more sublime, a little more subtle than that, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, I think so. I kind of grew up when I came into the industry, a lot of it was back in the day was marketing, was like mailers to like dinner seminars, right? And they would try to educate and push a product, right? And that was kind of the marketing that kind of happened. It ventured into like radio. And then obviously digital came, and that's kind of where I got my teeth into the system. And it's just different, right? You have to approach digital marketing as education first. And so there's a lot of people out there, but that will talk about that. But it's like, like Gary Vee will always say, like jab, and then throw the right hook, right? So like educate, and then make an offer, which is a lot different than a lot of us can be used to.
I get it. So, tell us about some of your success stories, people you worked with. You don't have to name names, but just give us an example of how effective your approach can be.
Yeah. So like our approach really comes down to the way we do it is when we run marketing for advisors, we really try to offer some sort of guide, ebook, tax guide, estate planning guide. IRMA's another big talk that's coming up. And we put people into that as like a lead list, right? And then we'll educate towards a webinar, and then that webinar will set the appointment. The whole process is to make sure someone that wants to meet with you is engaged, high intent, right, but also kind of higher net worth. And so a lot of advisors we'll work with, a couple in particular will have closed. One advisor out of Minneapolis has closed $34 million in new assets this year so far, right? Off of our marketing. And that's really just in 2 forms. So the online educational, right? The cool thing, I shouldn't say the cool thing, COVID was a bad thing, but what it did is really catapulted our marketing and digital, like putting us into the digital space. It kind of forced our people couldn't come to the office and things like that. So everyone was forced to get used to Zoom and, conversations like we're having now. And so it makes it a lot easier for people to reach and scale. There's a lot of good advisors out there that have a lot of knowledge. And if they can just get at scale, they can really help out a lot of these people that are very good starting, especially in like today's market and what's going on.
Okay. So, interesting. So what do you think is the number one mistake that most financial advisors make when they put together a marketing campaign?
Yeah. I think the biggest mistake, and I think the key to all marketing, is coming down to the offer, right? Like what are you able to provide to the client? And a lot of advisors, like a lot of websites will say like a free consultation, right? Or a free one-on-one meeting. But if you can come up with a good offer that helps motivate that prospect to wanting to meet with you, something like, I had a mentor back in the day that got me into the program, Jason Wank, someone I highly look up to. And he had a process called results in advanced planning. It was a planning method. A lot of advisors did it, right? 3-step appointment process, but he called it results in advanced planning. It just made you think like, what is this? How can I get my hands on it? That kind of thing. So I think the biggest hurdle advisor offer is coming up with unique offers.
Mm-hmm.
And then
unique offers, like, give us an example. What's a unique offer?
Yeah. So, back to one of them was the results advanced planning, which is like a process of offering someone a financial plan. They'd run through the statements and they would show them the Monte Carlo simulation, right? Basically like, hey, if you're to just continue doing what you're doing now, this is where you're at. If you want to do it by yourself, this is kind of your success rate. And then, then the next one would be like, hey, if I was ready to help you, this is what it would look like. And a lot of advisors do that planning process, right? That's nothing unique, but the way you called it was results in advanced planning. And I think that's a unique offer. And so I think the other big mistake a lot of people will make is they try to push an offer too fast. So then you have the offer and then you're just like trying to jam it down someone's throat. But the whole goal of digital marketing is from someone to like you, know you, and then trust you, right? And at the end of the day, that's what an advisor should try to do. And get that appointment.
Okay. And all right. So marketing's changed. It's not what it used to be. The whole digital slant, all of that, really important to stay up on it. What do you think? What do you think the biggest mistake, though, that these guys are doing with their marketing? As far as I know about the offer, but a lot of them are very successful, and yet they still don't want to do what's necessary here.
Yeah, I think so. All marketing works, right? And what the question comes then is, how effective is that marketing? Right? I could spend millions of dollars on TV ads, right? And eventually it's going to work. Eventually it's going to get you an appointment. Eventually it's going to get you a client. But if I were spending $1 million on radio, or television, or digital marketing like I have, like that, I recommend it. It's really coming down to at the end cost, what is the success, and if I put $1 in, am I getting 3 out, or if I'm putting $3 in, there's $3 coming out. So that's where that comes in from.
Right. Okay. So if someone's looking to get into this business, what would you recommend to them?
For financial advisors getting into the business?
Yeah. Someone out of college, or they were with a brokerage house and now they feel this is the natural evolution of your career. What would you tell them to do?
Yeah, I think getting into the industry is a very tough thing to do because it used to be very expensive. You used to have to spend $10,000, $20,000 for an event to get some clients in the door, or a lot of brokerages will make you smile down with family members, and other family members call friends, and that's kind of how you naturally get into it, right? Is just smile and dialing at family, or we spend $10,000 and do a seminar, right? And a lot of people can't do that. So really, how I got into it was I just found someone in the program, a mentor that had an RA already, and I kind of jumped down there. I became a coffee boy, glorified coffee boy, worked my way up to knowing planning, and then trading, and then client management, and then eventually marketing and doing all the seminars. So my biggest recommendation is just find someone that you want to mirror, right? And see if you can get your hands into that door.
Okay. Well, I'll buy that. All right. We want to get in touch with you, connect with you on the web, talk more. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think the best way is, mastermindadvisors.com is like our website. But I'm active on LinkedIn. I love to communicate that way. So you can just, LinkedIn me is just Josh_Woodward. And you can connect with me there.
All right. Appreciate that. We got a link to that in the show notes on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. While you're there, please sign up for a free newsletter. And if you got any questions, comments for Josh, myself, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Josh, been a pleasure. We'll talk to you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Kerry.
Hey, got a question for you. What's your feeling about the email newsletter ads or marketing?
Yeah. To answer that question, it's like is your target like in the older Dun the Ruffle?
What's that?
You just thinking, what's your target? Target.
I mean, for financial wannabe or expanding financial advisors.
Yeah, I think newsletters are great. There's a way to do it successfully. As long as you have call to actions and stuff on the bottom, PSs, and if you write it well, they work very well. One thing I would see if you can do and start doing is text messaging. it's huge. So like every time you watch a podcast or like something new that's coming out, like you just shoot a text and say, hey, check this out, or here's a quick link to this, or hey, I came across this. Like the open rate, especially for like younger advisors for texting, is where emails used to be, 10 years ago, where it's like a 90% open rate and click-through rate. But yeah, newsletters are huge. And I think even depending on how big your audience is, there's even a revenue that you can make from the newsletter itself.
Okay, cool. All right. Interesting. Because I'm working now. I'm just expanding my own newsletter. I was at 30,000 when I started. Now I'm up to about 50,000 names. And, for me personally, it's really effective getting the message out, getting people to the site, getting them to listen to the podcast and watch the YouTube. So
yeah, I think because like I watch a lot of your videos, and like I was kind of curious on how I would fit into like your videos, because you interview some very knowledgeable people like in the market, right? So I was curious on how to fit into that, but I think the way you're doing it in education based, you'll grow and be successful with that. Are you just looking to get revenue off like YouTube and podcasting, or is there like another goal to advise?
I have like a ton of financial advisors come on the show. I don't charge them anything, but I feel like I want to monetize that relationship, because like I have the PR people, they'll just feed me an unlimited number of them if I let them, which I don't. I have some regulars who I've kind of built relationships with, so I know they're getting something out of it. Obviously, they keep coming back on the show, even if they got a couple of leads, right? It was free to come on other than their PR person. And, each client is $3,000, $5,000 annually. So I'm just figuring out how to monetize that with a service where we help double, triple their mailing list. What is that worth to a financial advisor? And I figured as long as I had you on, Josh, I would have.
Yeah. So I think if you're trying to attract advisors, I think like the whole Dave Ramsey thing, right, kind of comes to mind. That man can sell a crazy amount of leads off of just pure education, right? And kind of what you're doing. I think you're just a little bit more higher end, just screaming, don't do that and stuff like that. But what I would do is have 2 sets of newsletters that are designed, one for advisors, right? You call that out, and then one for clients. And so like prospects, right? Because you're going to build that list to huge. Like, with my marketing, easily I have probably close to 600,000, prospects, just off of all the work I've done in the years. You can then monetize that and offer like leads, right? But in a sense of like, here's a debt ratio calculator you can utilize, and then you mail that out to your prospect list, and then any leads that come from that then go to your select advisors. You just charge a couple $100 per that, and that you'll, like a smart asset, if you're familiar with them, that's kind of the idea. And you can be very successful with that with just a very low, but it's all the back end you want to build.
Yeah.
The chiller stuff, and like the brains.
All right. Sounds good. Do you think I can say like, hey, you're coming on my show, spend $150 or $250 on an ad on my newsletter?
You could do that for like an advisor. It's like if you're trying to be on your show. So what that will do when you get big, like your subscriber is already there. There's 3 ways you can make really good income. One, you could charge the advisor directly, right? And say, hey, come on my show, and it's cost this much. I'll put you in this many people, blah, 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 blah. The other way you can do it then is AdSense, right? YouTube ads. And because you're at almost 30,000 subscribers?
I just passed 20, but I've been adding like several thousand a month now for the past few months.
That's awesome.
21,000.
And is that majority advisors, or have you looked into
that? Everybody. That's everybody.
Because then, so one, you can charge advisors to come on. The problem is like any appointments that come from that would have to go directly to them, which is totally fine. But like what Dave Ramsey does is like, hey, what this will do is get you branding. This gets you awareness to all these people. Right. But any leads that come in are my leads. And so then what you do with those leads is that you can sell them to advisors or offer them to advisors. You select advisors and charge $150, $200, and you're giving them to 2 or 3 advisors that you think are quality.
Right.
And then those advisors, so you're making $800 per lead instead of making $150 per one advisor.
Okay.
So you could do all three, right? Like you could sell $150. It gets you out there, get your name, it's branding. If you want any appointments and leads that come from it, it's $250 or $300, and then AdSense. And if you keep growing, you'll have some good lucrative business from it.
All right. Sounds good. All right, man. I appreciate the advice. We'll definitely have you back on again, and let's stay in touch. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.